The streaming, not the screaming, although sometimes it does feel like it's screaming. So that's coming across. Preso. Okay. Also servizio. Okay, right. So that's happening. 2 seconds. And cache. Okay, there we go. Right, so I can just get rid of that. Okay, and now done. Condivisione. Okay, so first of all, your cam. Well, I knew that was going to happen because, right, is that going to happen? Is that going to work? I doubt it. That's a pain. Change to no. Okay, need to close that instance. Okay, so this is what's up. Okay, fine, thank you. Oh. Okay. Okay. Share screen. Which one? This one. Okay. Okay. So, good evening, everybody. I hope. There it is. Oh no, what's happened there? There's too much stuff going on. Right. Okay. There we go. Nope. There we go. That's it. Okay. So that's the. Okay. That's the thing for the notes. Okay. Right. Okay. So I suppose good afternoon, or good evening, everybody. Hope everyone is okay. Is everybody all right? Now, chat. There are 2 things on the chat. Let me just. Okay.
Yeah. Good evening, Gordon.
Okay. Good evening. Now, can you see the links and the document on the chat?
Yeah, the link to put the signature for the presence, or the other one?
Yeah, both of them.
Okay,
yeah, because the link is for the documents, and is for the register, whereas the other is the PDF of the file of the notes that I'm going to use this evening. I still haven't managed to sort out the emailing list, which is a bit of a pain, but at least this way we've got the materials that we can share. Okay, let me just see, how many people have we got today? Probably not quite as many as last time. Okay, it's about 9 people, which is okay. Right, so how is everybody? Or how is everybody? Francesco?
I'm done in tonight. Done in.
You're what? You've done it.
I'm done in. Completely destroyed.
Okay. So you're cooked.
Yeah.
Okay.
Me too.
Okay. Yeah.
Well done. Well done.
Not rare. What about you, Francesco?
Let's say we survived the first period. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Please, could you attach again the file, because I just entered and I cannot reach.
Right. That's okay. That's okay. I'll do that. I honestly don't understand the logic behind that Zoom thing. Right. Okay. Here we go.
Gordon, sorry I'm in late.
No, it's okay. It's okay. I'm late as well. Every time it seems to be there's some sort of slightly different way of getting into the Zoom thing, and it's just a bit weird. Anyway, so everybody looking forward to the Christmas break? Yeah.
Yeah.
Paola,
Indeed.
you You looking forward to having a few days off?
I will be at home for Christmas Eve and Christmas. After I will go to the sea, but I have seen that it will be rain. So
Whereabouts are you going?
in Liguria, Barazze.
Ah, okay.
Yes,
Because we're going to Geneva tomorrow.
yeah.
So it's the forecast is pretty bad actually.
Yeah.
So I think we're just going
But
to
it's better than stay at home.
Well, at least we'll be with family. So yeah, okay, good. Right. So last time we were talking about the I think we were talking about the speaking task, and we were looking at the first and the second part of the speaking task. The first part is like a sort of a general introduction type of thing. The second part is more of is something where you have to describe photos, but it's not quite describing photos. It's comparing things across photographs, and I think that's probably fairly okay. Today I wanted to have a look at the third part of the speaking task, which is perhaps I think it's the most difficult part, because it's difficult to prepare for this, I think, other than just doing let's say lots of practice, but it's the part which is more conversational. But of course, the conversation is that you are is that you're not talking to the examiner alone. You're actually discussing something with a partner. So you're both doing the exam, okay? It could even be worse. There could be three of you, okay? So the key here is that you have to be able to take part in the conversation. But I always think of this as something as a bit like it's a bit like playing football, or playing a game in which you have to pass the ball, or you have to pass something between the players, okay? So it's not a competition to see who can keep the ball to themselves for the longest. It's actually a collaborative thing. So you're being tested on your ability to use the language in a collaborative setting. Now, I'm just going to move onto my notes. Always the resources. Okay, so this is the third part. So, which do you think is most important? Is it demonstrating your vocabulary, demonstrating your knowledge, or demonstrating your ability to actually engage in conversation?
The ability to actual conversation.
Yeah, that's it. This is it. You always have to remember this. Now, if you think about a conversation is not just a series of, let's say, statements. If you consciously think about how conversation works, next time you're involved in a conversation, you realize there are a whole set of, let's say, things that you say which lead the other person to understand that they need to either reply. So it's obviously like questions, for example, but also things such as encouragement to give answers, encouragement to provide ideas. There's a whole set of, let's say, let's say, language structures which go to make the the conversation work. Agreeing with people, disagreeing with people, and so on and so forth. So this is what you're going to be using in this section. The temptation, and I've seen this quite a lot, the temptation is to get on a subject, and because you feel like you know a bit about it, is to just keep going. But that's not the way you should do it. What you should do is you have to be conscious of passing the ball. Okay, so of course it is an exam context, so informal, fun and easy to follow. Informal and fun is relative, let's say, but it is supposed to be a fairly, let's say, natural type of activity. You'll see the structure of the task in a minute. I'll show you this in a minute. But rather than dive in straight away and choose and go straight for one of the options, you should set a context, just an opening sentence, and this could be as simple as saying, oh, this is an interesting topic. I'd never really thought about this before, whatever. Okay. The important thing is to try and, let's say, guide the conversation in some way such that you, as a pair, as a couple, as a pair of students, you arrive at some sort of conclusion. And if you think about it, in this, let's say, within this framework, this actually gives you quite a few, let's say, handles, quite a few clues or cues, which you can use to demonstrate use of language. So, for example, time is ticking, the clock is ticking, time is moving, time is running, and you haven't reached a conclusion. So you can actually say, okay, I think we need to come to some sort of conclusion here. So there are options, opportunities to use, let's say, relatively straightforward, relatively straightforward constructions, which are useful for, let's say, bringing something to a close. Okay, so what you are going to be doing here, and I'll make a note of this here, because that way it's so you're going to be suggesting, okay, and because the idea is you're going to be given a set of topics or a set of things which are related around a central topic. So you should be coming up with some sort of ideas. And so you'll have some ideas. Let's take a look at how about this, what about that, and then developing ideas. Okay, so there are some phrases here which are typical. To be honest with you, this one doesn't sound very typical. I've never really come across this one before, but it might be worth looking at something. This is a sort of a fairly useful one. But what you've got is suggesting ideas, and let me just put this on top. Oops. As ever, it jumps across the screen. Okay, so you've got starting off with making suggestions and then developing ideas around the topics, and then you may be expressing an opinion. Okay, so this is typical, the way I see it. I bet that, I'm under the impression that, I mean, these are.
Sorry, Gordon.
Mhm.
Sorry, just one question.
Yeah.
It's always about the register, okay? So
Uh-huh.
it was written in an informal conversation, but you said that the register should be fairly official, okay?
No.
So I lived in England, so I see maybe.
Yeah, no, hold on. Okay. Yeah, it's right. Okay,
But
I'll
sorry,
tell.
can I finish? Because in my life, I would never say, I mean, in my conversation, free conversation, I would never say I'm under the impression that. Okay, so it doesn't.
No, it's absolutely normal. You might not have heard it, but it's absolutely normal. I'm under the impression that this is a little bit.
Yes, I'm not questioning about that, but I would never use that. I mean, coming from my own language. So what about the register? Should we stick to some common words?
No, okay. So the register. Okay, so the in the introduction it said that it should be fairly informal. Okay, fairly informal doesn't mean using slang. Okay, slang isn't informal. Slang is just slang. Okay, so it's about using it's about sort of keeping it fairly light, if you like. Okay, these types of phrases here, these are just some of the sorts of phrases that you might use to introduce ideas, introduce opinions, develop ideas, or develop opinions. Okay, so this is this is all fairly normal stuff. Okay, I'm under the impression that is just absolutely, it's neither formal, informal, or whatever. It just is. It's nothing, not particularly. It's not particularly formal. If you if that's what you're worried about.
No, I wasn't worried about that, and I'm thinking that if I have to be fluent, okay, I'm trying to be fluent, I should use the language that I know.
Yeah, no, absolutely, but also you have to remember that that at this level it's the usual thing. It starts to become more difficult to, let's say, incorporate new things simply because you already know a lot, and you're not in a phase which is so, let's say, acquisitional, in the sense that when you're sort of going between B2 to C1, you acquire a hell of a lot of vocabulary. And so there's lots and lots of new stuff comes in. When you get to C1, C2, it becomes a little bit more difficult, in the sense that you're looking at things which are a bit more rarefied, let's say. So you may or you may not remember these things. You also, at this level, you will have developed your own habits. Okay, so you will almost certainly have a repertoire of phrases, okay, which are fine for you, which is fine. It's okay. It's just that at this level there are many possibilities, many more possibilities. That's the thing. So the thing here is that if there's something which you're not so, let's say you're not so familiar with, but you think, well, okay, that's something that I could use, take it, use it.
No,
Okay.
not so sure that is correct, because sometimes I can mix up with slang, you see, because where I lived, some expression or some words were absolutely normal, but you are saying that they are not very appropriate for the.
Well, okay, yeah, hold on, right, okay, so we have to make a distinction here between normal and appropriate. Okay, what I'm saying is that slipping in slang words for an exam, it doesn't. I don't think it gives a particularly good impression. It sounds like you've maybe picked something up from wherever, and the danger, of course, is that you might still use it in certain places where you shouldn't, for example. So I would just avoid it simply because I don't think it sounds so good. It
Yes,
doesn't give.
problem it is sometimes I don't know the difference. That's the point, okay? Because for me it's normal to use that slang. So please correct us, because I tend to use that.
Yeah, but as I said,
I'm Danian, and for me it is completely normal. It is extremely tired, but is it slang to say Danian?
Yes, it is.
Yes, so that's what I lived. I know now that I was speaking slang all the time.
No, it's okay. But the thing here in general, Adriana, is this: that for people who maybe haven't had the experience of living in the country, the idea of, let's say, having a couple of phrases which you can use in particular situations can be a good starting point to, let's say, learning more about these phrases which join the pieces in a conversation. Because again, if you think about it, the conversation isn't just the pieces of information that you're trying to convey. There's a whole set of words and phrases which act like a glue. Okay, and this is what these things here are doing. Yeah, is that okay?
Yeah. But please, anyway, stop, interrupt me, and correct if I'm using some slang, because I don't know the difference sometimes. I think it's normal and it is not.
Yeah, it would be a bit like an English person speaking Neapolitan. And thinking they were speaking Italian. Okay.
Gordon,
right.
excuse me.
Yeah,
I
Valentin.
think I understood what you meant when you were speaking about the level of knowledge, because it's something like the first part of the learning process is like getting a lot of words and new situations, stuff and all these things, and then there's a moment in which you think like you feel like you cannot get anything else, because you just know what you need for surviving, like I need these sentences to reach whatever I know. And then like maybe even years later there's something strange. It is something like if you had a sedimentary period.
It's like this
geotechnic meaning, and then maybe years later maybe you don't live there anymore, but something happened in your mind, and you start to learn more than before.
It's very.
It happens with Spanish.
It's like this graph I've just drawn here. Sort of being a technical person, I tend to think of things in graphs, but what you have is you go through periods where you're accumulating, and then you're starting to use, and you get to a certain point where you sort of feel like you're not making any more progress, but what you are doing is you're consolidating what you've got. Now, for many people sort of get a certain, and let's say to a certain level, and then they don't seem to get any better.
It's quite depressive in that moment.
No, well,
quite depressed because
it depends.
It's not satisfactory. It's something
because it depends.
Doesn't enter.
No, it depends on your motivation. You will have all have heard, maybe yourselves or maybe other people that you know say, so and so has been in this country for 25 years and they still don't speak Italian, that type of thing, okay, for whatever reason. And it's this thing about, it's the motivation. There are a whole set of factors. The further up you go, the more difficult it gets, because let's say the levels, the difference between the levels, it's not that they get any smaller. It's just that you have to accumulate a very, very large vocabulary and be able to use it properly. Okay, and the further up you go, the more words, the more things you realize you don't actually know. Okay, and
I mean, that
No,
the
no,
motivation was not conscious for me, because I was thinking that motivation was the same, but I was feeling like I was stuck, you know, not not that I was not interested anymore. So my motivation was the same.
No, it's
but,
so there's a frustration.
My brain was stuck. So.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah. So one of the things here is that you may, to help you get to the level, you may think, okay, well, I need more exposure, because there's also the, let's say, the simple fact of being exposed to the language, either passively or actively. The more exposure you get, the more opportunity you have of taking in. Now, if you're motivated, you will be exposing in a, let's say, an active way. So you're actively listening. You want to watch the film in English, and you want to understand what the actors are saying. So you know that's a good way of consolidating, but also going further. But the further up you go, the more difficult it gets, because it really does become a, if you're not in the environment, so you're constantly, let's say, so you're constantly exposed to the language.
You drink everything.
Yeah. Because you're swimming in it, basically. So you can't avoid it.
Maybe when you are not in the swimming pool, maybe you drink something different and better, even if you are not so exposed anymore.
Yeah.
There's something not depending on the particular setting itself.
No. Again, as I say, I think a lot of this is it's personal motivation. So, for example, do you read English books? Do you pick up novels and read them? That type of thing. Some people do, some people don't. Some people prefer to watch Netflix. Okay, if you have the opportunity of watching a program or a film in English or in Italian, do you put on the English with the subtitles? Do you put on the English without the subtitle? It's just a question of, let's say, finding a way that works for you. Yeah.
But sometimes it starts from yourself itself. For instance, after many years that I was not living in Spain, I started to dream in Spanish after 5 or 6 years, and then it was like a new motivation, new passion, without reason, because I wasn't there. Well, I wasn't needing to read in Spanish or to do another exam, you know.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. No, I mean, it's these things work in I wouldn't say mysterious ways, but it's personal interest is a lot of it. Yeah. Because you do it because you want to, and your brain is always resetting itself. It's always, because the brain is very plastic, and it's able to, within reason, of course, it's able to, let's say, reorganize thoughts and stuff as you learn new things. But the point here is that as the higher up you go, the more difficult it gets.
Maybe you reorganize what you drank before.
Yeah.
With no reason. Yeah. After consolidation. Yeah.
Okay. No, these are good points, because I think these are the things which come out particularly at this level, because as I say, you're starting to get to a point where it's no longer the simple vocabulary, the simple stuff, or the simple constructions. It's the more, let's say, how would you describe it? Yeah, the more advanced things which are which, let's say, give you a command, give you a better command of the language in terms of being able to interact and being able to talk about stuff. So, as I say, the thing here, there's some phrases in these slides which are simply there. It's not like you have to learn them by heart, and if you don't feel like they're yours, that's fine. That's okay. But what you should perhaps think about is, in this type of situation, what do you say? What do you say? Okay. So maybe you have your own way of your own sort of phrases that you've learned, what have you. Okay, but what I'm trying to communicate here is let's say a consciousness of being in the conversation. Okay. So that allows you to draw on resources rather than relying on, let's say, how things feel. So, okay, so if you think about agreeing, you can you're reinforcing. So you're not just saying, "Oh yeah, I agree with that." Okay, that's fine. I agree with you. Fairly straightforward, very simple. You're not going to get many points for that. I couldn't agree more. That's a bit stronger. Okay, without a doubt, you have a point. I get what you mean. I see where you're coming from. These are all sort of fairly normal. We see eye to eye on this. These are all fairly normal, let's say, agreeing type phrases. Disagreeing, and there is a strategy here, because even though you may not disagree, it could be useful to disagree, because it makes the conversation a little bit more, a little bit livelier, in the sense that there's more exchange, more possibility of exchange. Okay, if there's more possibility of exchange, there's more possibility of demonstrating that you have the level, or you have the vocabulary and the concepts which you need. Okay, so it's not just a case of everything being vanilla. Okay, you can actually disagree, and even if you're just inventing, it doesn't matter, as long as you can play the game. So if you disagree, you give reasons. So classic phrases are beg to differ. That's quite a common one. It's a matter of opinion. Okay, whatever you do, don't say opinions are like arseholes. Okay, because everybody's got one. So these are sort of let's say things that you might consider. Okay, and then we need to come to some sort of conclusion. Okay, so for example, to sum up, to finish off, in summary, what could we say about this? Okay, we can I think we'll have to agree to disagree. In other words, there's no common ground. Okay, but these are the types of phrases which you are which you could be using. So you can see there are sort of three sorts of phases. There's an opening phase. Okay, there's a middle phase, and then there's a concluding phase. Conclusion. Okay, and in this, it's exactly the same. It's exactly the same. Let's say structure as when you're doing the writing. You have an opening, a middle, and then an end. Okay, and a summary. What guscio di noce, letteralmente, guscio di noce. Guscio di noce.
Yeah, that's true. Is the literary translation.
Oh, in a nutshell. Ah, yes. Sorry, in a nutshell.
Yeah.
Yeah. In a nutshell. Yeah, so it's one of those phrases which is used. It's used actually quite a lot. In a nutshell, in summary, in guscio di noce.
Il nocciolo della questione.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You see the point? I know that expression, but I wouldn't dare use it because I think
no,
in a nutshell.
It's not. This isn't. No, you have to make it. There's a distinction between, let's say, slang type words, okay, and phrases which are, let's say, le frasi fatte, okay. So as Valentina just said, the example, il nocciolo del discorso, okay, there are a whole set of phrases. I also in Italian, of course, you talk about particular things in particular terms. This is an absolutely normal everyday phrase, okay. Everybody uses this one, okay. Yeah. So okay, so let's have a look at this famous type of question. Okay, so I'm just going to, this is the type of thing you will be presented with, okay. So you will have, there are typically 4 or 5 options or 4 or 5 things. Now, you need to talk about all of them, okay. So you need to be careful with the time. Don't go too much into detail. But what's the thing here? By having different options, it gives you the possibility of invite it. You speak, then you invite the person to the other person to carry on, your partner to carry on. Okay.
Sorry, Gordon, how much time do you have to
this
cover
one,
all of them?
This one's about 4 minutes, I think.
4 minutes for all of them?
Yeah, 4 minutes.
But it's really superficial, that line.
Yeah, exactly. Because they're not testing your knowledge of this. They're testing your ability to have a conversation, basically. That's the thing. It is very superficial in a way. But what they're looking for is they're looking for your ability to pass the ball, okay, but also sometimes to take the ball back when necessary, because what sometimes happens is people get stuck, and and when you get stuck, don't keep the ball, throw it away, give it to the other person, okay. And part of that is, well, you can possibly imagine the sorts of things you might say, but part of that could be coming to a conclusion, say, oh, what do you think about that? Yeah. So there's not a lot of time here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I think it's a bit short. But that's just me.
Do you have? Do you have a bit of time to think about that, or is it still?
I think they give you about 15 to 30 seconds before you start, so you sort of skip. So
That's
you
nothing.
sort of no. So you skim it. You just have a general idea. Yeah. Let me just have a look. Yeah, there you go. Okay, actually, no, you don't even get 4 minutes. It's 2 minutes, which is really nothing. Okay. So I'd like, this is from the examiners guidelines. It says, I'd like you to talk about something together for about 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Here are some things that people often have to make decisions about. And a question for you to discuss. First, you have some time to look at the task. Some time is 15 seconds. Now talk to each other about what people might have to consider when making these decisions.
It doesn't say that you have to cover all of them anyway.
No, it doesn't, but you need to be covering more than one.
Yes, of course, more than one, but 5, it is 15 seconds each. Come on.
Okay, so I'll tell you what I'd suggest we do is I suggest we have a go at this. So I don't know who wants to volunteer here, but I'll give you a little bit more time to think about what you might want to say. I'll give you a minute or so to think about it, and then if someone wants to, if two people want to volunteer, we can try it. Okay, so I'll give you a minute, and then then we'll see if we've got two volunteers. Okay.
Sorry, Gordon, who chooses the starting point? Is it up to the people?
It's up to, yeah, it's up to the people. You just one of you. I mean, usually there's a little bit of hesitation, and someone says, "Do you want to go first?" Or can I start? Okay, you sort of, yeah. And at that point, you just make the decision.
Okay, and what's your opinion? I think I'd better start because, well, I mean, you have only 15 seconds to think about it, but I think it's the strategy is to start. You go first. I mean, that's my strategy because I can lead the way in that sense, but I'm not sure it is the correct option.
Well, okay, so how would so you want to go first, so how would you say that?
Oh, that's a strategy, okay?
No, but how would you actually say that to your partner?
Exactly what you said. Can I go first? Can I start? I've got an idea about
okay, yeah,
that could be. Now, I was wondering about the strategy, if it is better to start or if it is better to wait for the other person to start and then you can agree, disagree on
right, okay, so maybe this is a topic which you have some ideas about. Okay, so if you remembering that you're not being tested on your depth of knowledge on the ideas, but you're being tested on your ability to interact and collaborate with the other person. Okay, so
maybe I could start from what you said right now.
Yeah.
Okay. For instance, getting married, concern with enter into a relationship, so you would need to be able to interact into a human relationship, and you have to think about that. But it's also normal as you were with anybody else. So anyway, it's a relationship, it's a human relationship. And moving to another country could.
Okay, so yeah, okay, so I think the thing is, let's do it this way. Let's try and see if we can get two people to do the simulation of the thing. So what you would do is you would pass the ball at you'd say, okay, is it okay? Can I start? Is it okay for me to start?
Pardon, how long does it last, the conversation? How long?
It's a couple of minutes. It's literally a couple of minutes. Okay. Now I don't know what they can tell from a couple of minutes, but that's the way it is. Okay.
I think that I would like to present to introduce all the things, but there's no time. So say two words each, but
No,
It's
no,
about getting married at that
exactly.
moment,
But yeah,
that's
but
the strategy.
exactly. But the thing to remember though is this: that what you should do is you should pick on one and then pass the ball.
Yeah, get an input
now when you if you're on the receiving end of the ball, okay, you could say, yeah, okay, I agree about that, about what you said about relationships. What about choosing a university? So push
one by one.
So push it's not like it's not like a democratic process where everybody has to say what they want to say about each topic. You can you can throw the ball around the topics. Yeah.
Gordon, excuse me, another question. Do they judge perhaps also your capability to connect items? For example, if you decide to if you decide to start or starting to start a family, perhaps it would be better to have a job or
well, okay, right, okay, I understand what you mean. Okay, so okay, so that they're not looking for your ability to connect the topics. They're looking for your ability to use language which, let's say, makes the connection, but it's not the connection of the content. Okay, so just to give you an example, thinking about excuse me, Barbara, can you switch your microphone off, please? Put yourself on mute. Okay, so for example, just thinking.
Okay, I understood.
Yeah, it's not the topic, it's not the content, it's the ability to jump between them and to make parallels. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, but also the content should have a certain. I mean,
no.
if I say stupid things.
Okay, yeah, but
the examiner would notice that I say stupid things.
Yeah, but you're not going to be saying stupid things because you won't say stupid things. Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
No, because the thing is, okay, so think about it. I mean, getting married, that's an opinion. It's something which some people do, some people don't, some people care about, some people don't. Finding a job. Everybody has their own, like, let's say, ideas about how to find a job and, moving away from home or this and that and this and that. So in the end, this is all very much, there is no right answer. I mean, okay, if you say, oh, choosing university, yeah, I took the names of 10 universities, wrote them on a piece of paper, put them in a hat and picked one. Okay, well, okay, that's a bit, yeah, but you're not going to be, you don't have time to say stupid stuff, Adriana, honestly.
Stupid and strictly one by one.
No. You'll be fine. No.
Not altogether.
Yeah, like being at the Mad Hatter's tea party. Yes, sort of. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, as I said, this is why, let's say, practicing for this type of thing is a bit difficult. Because you need to practice with a partner, you need to practice with another person, because you can't have, well, some people do, but you can't usually have conversations on your own. Yeah. And it's the connecting things which make the thing fluid, which make the conversation.
And I think that's exactly what we do in our class, so that you don't know what the other person is going to say. So that's the ability to adapt.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, that's the point.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. And at this level, you should have a pretty, let's say, a pretty well developed ability to adapt. Yeah, because you've got the grammar, so that you've got the grammar, you've got the understanding, the vocabulary, you're understanding the information that you're getting, and you're responding to that information. So that's what's happening. You have to adapt. But that's language. That's everyday use of language, yeah.
So maybe we could restart. So I say, I think that getting married could be something like enter a relationship that is considering that you are into a relationship. What do you think about?
Yeah, okay, yeah. So
restart.
Okay. So again, always remember what the question's asking. So what might people have to consider?
What do you have to consider? So you have to consider that you are into a relationship, like a human relationship itself. So you need to be able to interact with the other people and to be involved in the relationship itself. Be honest or
okay. So is that okay? Right. Emanuela wants to try, so Emanuela's on for it, and
I'm not sure to have understood everything about what Valentina said, but I thought she was talking about loyalty or something like that. Yeah, I wanted to point the fact
to point out.
Sorry, I wanted to point out the fact that a lot of people, I don't know, they decide to get married just because it's like a habit, or just because other people, the families, for example, think something.
Okay, I'm just wondering. Okay, I think we have to be careful. We have to be careful with the thing, because it's about what do you have to consider when you're making the decision. Okay, so.
But do you suggest, for example, to be quite neutral about position, about point of view, or
no, not necessarily, as long as you don't come across like a Nazi. That I think you'll be all right. It's just that I think possibly I wouldn't have started with this one. I would have maybe started with either choosing university or finding a job.
Oh, sorry, Gordon, why did you think that what she was saying was wrong? Because I thought it was to the point.
I'm sorry, I disagree, because I wasn't hearing anything about what people have to consider when they make the decisions. Well, you
have to consider if it is your own choice, or if it is just a habit because your family has always done that, or because it's the habit of your country. You have to consider that. I think you have to consider that.
Okay. Maybe we're going a little bit too deep here, I think.
Okay.
No, because I was just thinking. So you might be thinking about, well, where are you going to live? Are you going to live together? Where are you going to? What if they've got jobs in two different places, and this type of stuff, let's say more normal stuff. But that's okay.
It's not normal for you, but we are Italian, Gordon.
Yeah, that's okay.
That's the point. It is normal for us to consider what she said.
Okay.
Or maybe getting married, moving to another country. Both the.
And starting a family altogether. Valentina.
Right. Okay. So Emanuela, right. And who else wants to go? Francesco, dai. You've been very quiet. So
okay, yes, I switched off my microphone. Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay, I guess, but okay, the main thing is the relationship, but we have also to consider economical side of the question of getting married, because you have to change your habits and maybe your
Right. Okay. I'm going to stop you, Francesco. I'm going to stop you because what we're going to do is we're actually going to do. You are going to work with Emanuela to do this task together from the beginning. Okay. Which means remember. Hold on. Right. Okay. So it means first of all. Deciding who wants to go first and opening the conversation, then whoever opens starting to make some suggestions and developing some ideas, and then the agreement, disagreement, etc. Okay, now I'll give you a little bit more time than 2 minutes so you don't feel the time pressure. I'm just interested in you having the chance to throw the ball around a little bit. Okay. Is that all right, Emanuela?
Yes, but are we going to debate me and Francesco? Is it
yes. Right? Yeah. It's not a debate. It's a conversation. It's a conversation. Okay. So remember, you can agree, you can disagree. That's okay. If you disagree, give a reason. It doesn't have to be philosophically perfect. It's whatever. Okay.
Philosophically correct. Politically correct.
Okay. So I'm going to open this up to you guys. So you have to decide. You unfortunately, because we're doing this over the internet, you don't have the body language cues that you would have if you're sitting in the same room as someone. Okay, where you would sort of you'd be looking.
Better for
Okay, so when you're ready.
Okay, I think Francesco can start if it's okay for him.
Like it. Okay, so about getting married.
Stop.
Okay, and for the first shot. Okay, about getting married. Okay, it's a big question because there are many aspects to be considered. First of all, I thank Valentina. The relationship, you must choose the right person, of course, and you must be aware that this should not be all positive in the following. So let's consider also the possible limits or negative aspects of your future partner. Don't you agree?
Yeah, I agree with you. The point is, of course, you have to pay attention to the choice of the person you are going to stay with for the rest of your life, or I don't know if it's
okay. Not so permanent, please.
For a long period, at least when you decide to do that. The fact is, I think people are going to change during their life. So perhaps you think to take a right decision, to take a decision, yeah. But and probably it is the good decision in that moment. But this doesn't mean that it will be in the future the same. So perhaps you have to be available to change in your
yes, of course. I agree. There can be an evolution, of course, in all along the times. So you have to keep the high attention to the fundamentals. Let's say, will the future jobs be compatible, or they will develop in different countries? For example, living a few times to be shared as a partnership, as a couple.
Yeah, you're right. This could be really a serious problem. Perhaps you have to think in the beginning if you are available to change even your way of life, the place where you live. I mean, put on a balance advantages and disadvantages, or the love you feel for these people, for this person.
2 minutes over. That's it.
Yeah.
I was using a chronometer, so it's 2 minutes.
Okay. So probably we should be interrupted on
Okay,
discussion
right, so
and never get married. Okay.
yeah, okay, so no, okay, so that's a good point, because the thing is that maybe you won't do all of them, but at least have a couple. Yeah. So at least go through a couple of these topics would be useful. So, for example, okay, I think you sort of mentioned something about countries, but not necessarily. It wasn't so explicit or explicitly mentioned. So you could make some sort of links here to getting married, starting families, moving to other countries, this type of thing. So yeah, we have to be very, very careful with the time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do they
don't
the time, or
no, you have to be careful with the time. Don't get sucked into the detail of the discussion.
Okay.
So
we're just surf about the topic.
Yeah, we're not.
They stopped when they think it's okay.
Yeah, they will tell you. Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Have we to check the time?
I think there will be a clock in the room, but they will tell you. They will tell you if they think that they've had enough. Okay. They will say, okay, thank you very much.
But just one question, please, Gordon. What about the possibility, like this time, to if the conversation hits just on a single topic, if there is no development on the other.
Okay, so
this should be, or
it
could be balanced by the depth of
no. They're looking. You've been given an instruction.
Okay, so
these decisions
the goal
now
is to jump over 5 different topics in 2 minutes. At least 15 seconds each. Okay.
At least a couple. Okay.
At least a couple. Okay.
So do you think
3 or more?
Do you think we started with 5 and we finished up with 2? At least 2.
Well, at least I'd say 3 to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'd say 3
at least.
Do you think it would be better when we see it's almost the time it has almost finished? Do you think it would be better to try to conclude, to find a conclusion?
Yes, you should.
Okay.
You should.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a sandwich. You have a beginning, you have a filling, and then you have the end. Yeah, you should try and make a summary.
Okay.
Can we also use music for that?
In what sense?
La da da da, la, da, da, da.
Okay.
Yeah,
maybe.
Everybody's happy.
Okay. It's just. Okay, right. So I just while I was listening to that, I was just doing a little bit of a search for something, and I found this. I can't talk about 5 points in detail in 2 minutes. This is a comment, and the reply is true, and you don't have to. In fact, you probably shouldn't. It's much better to have, well, a really good conversation about 3 of the topics than to race through and mention 5. So 3 is a good choice. It still doesn't leave you with a lot of time, and you're not going into depth. Yeah. So even 3, that's what, if you take away 20 seconds for an introduction and 20 seconds for a conclusion, or 30 seconds for a conclusion, it only leaves you a minute or so. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So Adriana, I think you should have a, how about this one?
Sorry, which one?
This one.
Oh my God.
There you go. Okay, so who wants to help with Adriana here?
So we can have music industry or industry. How can I say?
Industry.
Industry.
Mm-hmm.
For getting married, like.
Yeah, of course. Of course.
It was just a joke. Just a joke.
It could also be the media industry, because it does depend on who's getting married, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And the food industry, of course, for the catering. I'm not so sure about the sports industry or the medical. Hopefully, not the medical industry.
Dancing, because after eating, they will dance.
Yeah, and then of course, if they've been eating too much and drinking too much, then of course the ambulance may come. Yeah, so everyone's involved. Okay, right.
No, just a question, really, Gordon. As I'm like that, for instance, I really would be able to do an exam like that. Like in these 2 minutes, I would say a joke like that, and I would treat with all the 5 topics together. But I'm like that. But maybe it's not a good strategy.
Okay. Well, no, because the thing that you're not taking into consideration, Valentina, is the unknown of your partner, because your partner may not be
like that.
May not be like that, and also you may have someone who speaks a lot. You may have someone who is maybe a little bit shy. So. And who takes their time to formulate their ideas. So since this is a collaborative effort, this is where you can't say, oh yeah, I know what I'm going to say about this, and this, okay, and I'll just say it. You can't do that, because that won't work for you.
Yeah, that's a problem for me, because I would be used to do all together.
Don't get sucked into the content.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't get sucked into the content. Yeah. Okay. So okay, so Adriana, shall we
who is my partner?
I'm trying to find, because the thing is okay, Paula. I can say no, because the thing is, Zoom it has that stupid thing where it just makes a.
I wonder you called me.
It's just like it becomes like a column, so I have to scroll and it's difficult. Okay, so off you go. So remember,
I can't see her.
She's there. You just you might just have to move the what should we call it, the arrow up and down. Okay. So
yeah. Paula, right, I see her.
Right, okay, now this time I'll tell you when 2 minutes is up, okay?
Sorry?
I'll tell you when 2 minutes is finished, okay?
Yes.
So when you're ready, remember, opening, middle bit, summary, okay? So
but should I do all of that personally, or should I pass the ball? I mean,
you have to pass the ball, Adriana. It's all about passing the ball. This is a tennis match.
Yes, it's tennis match. So the conclusion can be either mine or the other person.
But hold on. Remember, this is not a conclusion about the content. It's a conclusion about your conversation.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So it could be you have very, very different opinions on 2 things. So the conclusion could be, oh well, I suppose we'll just have to agree to disagree, since we don't see eye to eye on these topics. Okay, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, let's try.
Okay, hold on. 3, 2, 1, off you go.
I think we can start from the medical industry.
No, hold on, Adriana. No, stop. Okay. Stop. You've just dived straight in there. You didn't give Paula any possibility of getting in on this, okay? So you've gone straight off, okay? Now it would be better if you say, well, okay, Paula, what do you want to go first, or what do you think? Can I start, or something along those lines? Yeah.
Okay.
That's the thing. Okay, I know.
Five seconds to say that. 5 seconds.
Okay, and don't get too pressured about the time. At least not at this moment. At this point,
you are pressured about by the time. In fact.
Okay, so 3, 2, 1, off you go.
Okay, right. It seems strange to me talking about that, but would you like me to start, Paola, or would you go first?
No, it's okay. You can go first.
Okay, I can focus on the medical industry because I think that technology has affected it a lot. Let's think about operations, okay, with laser or laparoscopic operations. What do you think?
I agree with your point of view, but I think that all the industry can be affected by technology, not only the medical one, because also the food industry can be really affected by technology with the OGM or something similar. It's not possible to live with our lives without technology. Our lives are affected by technology too. What do you think about?
Yes, I agree with you. And also I think that in the food industry, technology is not always positive. Do you agree with me?
Yes, I agree. I wonder that the technology can only can only damage our food industry. So it will be better if the food industry will not be affected, but it's quite impossible. Do you agree?
Yes, and instead I think that in music, the advantages of technology are huge. Let's think about the sound, okay? That sometimes on vinyls, the sound wasn't so good. And now with the new technology, the sound is fantastic. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree. And I think that disco music, it can't exist without technology. We need technology to have some kind of...
2 minutes.
Okay.
We went on three.
No. It was 2 minutes according to my
yeah, but
here.
we went on 3 topics.
Yeah.
About music industry, you think that technology is very useful, but it's also very good to listen to instruments that are natural. For instance, the real sound of a violin or the real sound of a drum, etc. Maybe it's better, in my opinion, that listening to recorded instruments or technology manipulated. How can I say it?
Okay, Valentina, I wasn't thinking much on what I was saying, okay? Because you said it is not that the point.
Yeah, but
I was just keeping the conversation going.
I know, but I just disagree
I only speak about...
I'm agreeing with you because I like CD sound better than vinyl, but I'm disagreeing in order to move the conversation on.
Gordon, what do you think? It can work or not?
Okay, right. So I think this. No. It could work. It just needs attention. In the sense that, and this is the practice thing. So, one of the clues, or one of the things which helps you here is okay. So I'm sorry, just moved on. Is this idea? How might these industries have been affected by technology? So, this is a sort of something which has happened in the past, and it's sort of continuing into the present, and could go forward into the future. So I think this gives you a lot of space, okay, and so you can talk about the past, and you can talk about the present, and you can talk about the future. I think what I found, and I think maybe other people will confirm this, what I found a little bit, let's say, use the word rigid, okay, but stilted, was the passing, okay? So it's this sort of, what do you think about that? Do you agree? Yes, I agree, and then carrying on, okay? So it's a bit, let's say, a little bit not so fluid. This is okay once or twice, but not at the end of everything. So just thinking about these are the phrases, okay?
Yes, but sorry, how can I pass the ball? Because if I interrupt the other person, I'm rude. Okay?
Right. Okay.
So
No, that
how can I pass the ball?
Adriana, that's a very, very good. That's a very good point, because you have to remember that this is a collaboration. So you can't steal the ball, okay, but you have to remember to pass it, okay? That's the thing. You're saying something. Don't get sucked into the detail, and so you come to let's say a conclusion about what you're saying, and you pass it, okay?
Sincerely, I can't remember the sentences because
well, no, but what I would suggest you do, what I would suggest is that you write the one that you like, okay, write it down, and when you're practicing, you use it, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, and this, I know it sounds a little bit, let's say, a little bit awkward, but you're just practicing. It's like doing your scales, playing the violin. You have to, if you don't do your scales and you don't do your arpeggi, you're not going to be able to play the violin. Yeah. So
sorry, I didn't understand, God. How can I pass the ball? I didn't get the point. Sorry.
Okay, so you can make your point, and
yes.
you just make your point, and you can at that point you can you just invite the other person. But if you're paying attention, you can pick it up without an invitation. Yeah,
I was just telling.
No.
It's not steal.
Yeah, it's difficult to this is difficult to do over the internet, simply because you don't have the body language cues. Okay, when you're with the other person, you read their face, you read their body language, and you know that the ball is there to be taken. Okay.
Gordon?
So
it's hard to me.
Well, it's difficult when you're doing it over the web, but when you're doing it with it's much easier to do this type of thing in a conversation with a person in the room, let's say. Okay, Emanuela?
Excuse me, couldn't it be simply, I thought about two possible.
Okay, go.
The first one is simply leaving a little bit of space of silence, so the other person understand that he can or she can come inside.
Yeah, take it. This is what you do in normal conversation.
And the other thing could be with how do you say, rhetorical
question. Excellent.
Don't you think, isn't it, or something like that?
That's fantastic, Emanuela. That's it. That's the type of thing. So in a normal conversation, next time you're talking to someone, and try and step back and watch yourselves talking, and you'll see you do this all the time. That fraction of a pause, and it's an unspoken invitation, okay? Or that rhetorical questions are excellent. Yeah.
Do you mean the one with the are you? That stuff?
Yeah.
Isn't it? Don't you?
Isn't it? Okay. Yeah. Getting married at 18 is really hard, isn't it? Yeah.
Very hard when you leave a little pause, a little suspense for inviting people to enter. The problem is that it's difficult to switch on and switch off the microphone. For instance, sometimes I want to enter to say something, and it's just the second after the other one has already started again.
Yeah, okay. Well, I think I can say that. I mean, as far as we're concerned now, around this group here, there's 9 or 10 of us. Okay, so actually the class is small enough such that you can actually leave your microphones on unless there's something going on in the background. Okay, that's us here. I mean, as far as the actual activity as a practice activity or as an exam activity is concerned, this idea of the pauses, you will notice that you do it all the time in normal conversation. Okay.
Yeah. I think that natural conversation is not only for the sight, even for the speaking with microphone, you know.
Yeah.
My problem is not to see how people react in their faces, because I see their faces anyway. Okay, we cannot use the hand. That is better for Italians, even better. But the problem for me is more using the microphone. But if we are in a small group, okay, we can.
Okay, but the point is always about time, you see. Okay, to reach a conclusion about 3 topics in 2 minutes.
No, you're not.
People speaking, it's really difficult.
No, you're not concluding about 3 topics. You're not concluding. You're concluding about the conversation.
Yes.
So
we are talking about topics anyway.
No. Forget the topics. The content is just a way. It's just a vehicle for you to express, to show how you're able to manage a conversation. That's all it is. Okay. So it's not. So in fact, a strategy could be to deliberately disagree, and then the conclusion will be at the end will be, I'm sorry, we'll just have to agree to disagree here. Yeah. You see what I mean?
Yes, I see what you mean, but it's hard stuff to be done in 2 minutes. It's 1 minute each, you see.
You're getting hung up about having to talk about the topics. You're getting really sort of sucked into that content, and no, I understand. It's practice. It's practice about being, let's say, being quite nimble in using these things, in using the glue.
Yeah,
okay, the glue phrases.
You try to skip from one topic to the other, finding something that connects the one to the other, because not as abruptly.
No, okay, so no. But you can also look at this at a meta level, which is that you say, okay, we've talked about the getting married. What do you think about choosing university? Shall we have a look at that?
Okay, so more freely. Okay.
Yeah, remember that you don't have to get sucked into the mud. You can say, we're in an exam room here, and we have to sort of talk about a few things. We haven't talked about this yet. How about that? Anyway, I see people are starting to say goodbye and stuff, because everyone's disappearing, of course, because it's Christmas. So I am going to draw a line onto this conversation now. So we'll see you in the new year, I think. Okay.
Yeah.
I hope everyone has a good Christmas and a good New Year. And interrompi.
Wait! I would like to send you my best wishes with a link. A YouTube link, because it's the best song that ever, like a mantra, and there's an English song, so you can listen. But I'm trying to link it. Just a second. Okay.
Gordon, can you put in the signature link after?
Yeah, just 2 seconds. I'll put this on. I think it's this now. Okay.
I don't remember exactly when we meet again. But
I can't remember either. It'll be
Okay, I can.
I think it would be the week of the. Hold on a minute.
Perhaps in school
Is it? It's going to be the.
after the 10th.
I think it'll be the 13th. Giovedì, Thursday the 13th. Giovedì.
Yeah.
I think so.
It should be.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Right.
Okay. In the meanwhile, can I invite Valentina to sing a two-voice Merry Christmas?
Okay.
Okay.
Merry
Let's
Christmas
start.
or Merry Marriage.
Okay,
Okay, this is the link.
Merry Christmas.
Okay. Thank you.
So we wish you a Merry Christmas, Valentina.
Wait, stop.
Okay. We're not really synchronized.
Okay.
Okay.
Valentina, David Bowie.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh.
Okay. So,
Okay.
it was starting. Okay.
I copied.
So, what did you ask
Okay.
me, Francesco? To sing together, Merry
I
Christmas.
just asked to sing in couple a Merry Christmas because I noticed that you are interested in music.
Yeah.
But,
okay, but you start,
maybe-
please. You start, please. I follow you.
Please. We
Yeah.
wish you a Merry
Merry
Christmas.
Christmas. We wish you a Merry
We
Christmas.
wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Okay, it's
Okay.
impossible.
Thank you very much.
Teatro di
Thank you,
Maybe-
Francesco,
Okay.
but it is
Bye
impossible to be
bye.
synchronized.
Enjoy the mantra.
Yes, I saw
Okay.
it, Valentina. Thank you.
And you. Bye.
Okay.
Thank you,
Bye.
bye, Gordon. Have a
Bye.
nice Christmas.
Bye to everybody.